Good evening, everyone. It's another episode of Let Us Talk tonight. Got 4 guests on. All questions are welcome. I'll wait for a few people to come in, and then we'll start. Thanks for all the guests coming on tonight. We'll start in a minute. I'm just sorting this out. Okay, yeah, on Thursday we have another special at 8:30, so please tune in. If you miss any of tonight's, or you've missed any in the past, please go to the YouTube page, and that is mental health hashtag Let Us Talk, and you can catch up with them on the page there. So let me get the first guest on tonight. Hello, mate.
Hi, Jimmy.
Yeah, not bad. You alright?
All good, all good.
All right. So, what I do with each guest, I let them introduce themselves first. So, let people know who you are, how we met, and what mental health.
Okay. So my name's James McCrudden. I know Jamie through the Mini Football Association. Would have been Jamie manages this England six-a-side, and I played for Ireland six-a-side. So that's how we met. Mental health means to me, I'm going to use what one of your guests said previously, was passionate, very passionate about mental health. It's affected me myself massively. Obviously, family and all as well, and friends and whatnot. But yeah, it's just something that needs to be talked about a hell of a lot more than it is being talked about. Especially, my opinion, especially for males, because there's a stigma about males. They're not allowed to show emotion, talk, do any of that kind of stuff. So the more people that tune into this, the more people that go on it and talk about it, the better for everybody.
Why do you feel there is that stigma behind it, especially in a male?
I'm not too sure. I think it's personally me. I think it's just a bravado thing. You know what I mean? It's you go back to the caveman era if you like. In my opinion, that, you know what I mean, you're not allowed to. You're not supposed to show emotion. You're supposed to be this stern-faced, hard man type thing. That where it came from is beyond me. You know what I mean? So there's more and more people suffering badly from it. So as I said, the more people that gets out there and talks about it, the better. Now, I was one of those myself until I had to ask for help, and I think the only way forward for males to beat that there is to actually be honest with themselves and go out and ask for help, because it's the only way you're going to get help.
Yeah. Do you feel over the years it may have got a little bit easier to talk, or do you still feel it's very hard for people to talk about mental health?
On a personal opinion, or for everybody?
In general, like, do you feel?
And so I think I'll do both sides. On a personal opinion, I think the help's out there, but you have to. I mean, you have to be honest with yourself and ask for help. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but on a general basis, I just think that male stigma is still out there. I understand. There's a lot of mental health and females and stuff as that, but I can only talk personally as a male. You know what I mean? So, I think that you just have that caveman attitude that we just bury everything inside and we're not willing to talk. But the sooner you get out there and talk about it, the good old saying is a problem shared is a problem halved.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So unless you ask for help, it's not really going to happen for you.
Yeah, 100%. Do you feel the treatment of mental health from maybe professionals or people around has got better over the years, or do you still feel there's a long way to go to help people with mental health?
I still think there's a long way to go, but in all fairness, it has got better. There's more sites out there even to talk on. There's more phone numbers you can use. Um, so yeah, it's got better, but there's still a long, long way to go. And the fact that from what we do, Jamie, like through soccer, through football, whatever it's called, or through sports, basically, it's improving as well, because there's more and more professional athletes coming out talking about it, and the more they do, or the more they talk about it, the more it encourages even younger lads to talk about it now as well.
Yeah. Obviously, from a personal point of view, and obviously maybe around people maybe had mental health. After they have smoked, do you feel the aftercare or the talk have helped, or do you feel there should be more help, or what's your overall feel on that?
Right. After all, yeah, there's definitely, there should be more help. There should be more people checking in to make sure, you know, especially people who suffer really, really bad. There should be, the help is there. Again, I keep repeating myself, you have to ask for help to be able to get help.
Yeah.
And if you feel yourself that you're not getting enough, you have to keep asking for it. I mean, it's the same as yourself. You're doing a good job here, and that's here. It helps massively with anybody. They can come on, they can ask questions, they can do what they want. But you have to keep asking for help. And I mean, we're all here, and especially stuff like us here, they'll see people that have suffered with it. We're in better places now, so all they have to do is please just lift the phone, just talk. Even the same as yourself, ask you a question on Facebook, ask me a question on Facebook. If we can do anything, we will, because it's a long, long road to recovery when you suffer from it as well. But there is always light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. Do you feel it's, when you're speaking, obviously, do you feel it's finding the right person to speak to? Because sometimes some people stereotype or stick behind it, maybe, especially in a male do you feel it could be that they just say, well, man up, or you're okay, don't worry about it, you'll get on with it?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely, you definitely have to find the right person to talk to, because you know yourself, you have those people that ask, what would you be depressed for, and get over it. And you know what I mean, as I explained to people a few years back when I was suffering as well, I says, I'll tell you what I'll do. I says, I'm going to come up and break your 2 legs and tell you to walk it off. It's the exact same thing. You know what I mean? It's a disease. It's just not classed as a disease just yet, but definitely you have to really talk to the right people, most definitely. And the right people are out there. It's just a matter of finding the right person for you.
Yeah. Do you feel within education it should be more in education from a younger age so they understand it more?
100%, 100%. It should be in the school system, regardless. Especially in today's modern society, it should be in the school system, 100%.
Obviously that costs money, so obviously do you feel it, obviously from the government, they especially after maybe with lockdown and COVID-19, a lot of people's mental health will be struggling. Do you feel that they should make an effort to campaign and putting it more into education and projects now?
Definitely. I really think this is an opportunity for the government to stand up and they show what they're worth, basically. You know, I mean, I honestly don't think they do enough. They might brand it here and there and say this and that, but put your money where your mouth is. You know, I mean, educate people on the process and how to go about getting help and doing all that stuff. So, I mean, they throw money into stupid stuff, to be honest, you know what I mean? Just throw it into where it matters, especially now, because there will be a massive outbreak of people suffering from mental health after going through all this COVID and lockdown and all that kind of stuff. So definitely needs to be pushed now more than ever.
Yeah, David Thompson said, always here for you, Jamesy. Inspirational stuff and great example to two boys.
He's but to open it up and get here, when I was at my toughest times, he stood by my side. He's one person I can thank for being here today.
I love you, Black. Men are expected to just get on with it or deal with it. Sad thing is, we put that pressure on ourselves too. Do you feel that there's a lot of pressure, obviously, for men they put that pressure on themselves and it can affect them?
Yeah, there is, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, again, you go back to the way it was years and years ago, where we had the, you know what I mean, we had the, how do you say it, we had the man up to everything, basically. You know, we had to go out and work for the family and do this, but things have changed now. You can share stuff with your partner. Your partner, like my partner, works full time as well and covers all the bills and does all that stuff. So it's not as bad as it was. But I understand where he's saying and where he's coming from. You know what I mean? There's a big stigma still in men by men. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's yeah. I get where he's coming from on that one. Definitely, I definitely do. Yeah.
Wayne Ashbrook said, "Proud of you, pal."
He's another one that's been by my side from the very start as well. So that's good.
Amy Curtis 13 said, "How did you motivate yourself when you were feeling low?"
Right now, if it's today, and I feel low, that one of the things that gets me through is doing a workout. That's 100%, and I know Amy Curtis as well. So Amy knows that my phone's always on, and she needs to talk. We can always talk. So it's it's finding something that motivates you when times are hard as well. It could be something as simple as colouring a colouring book, or you know what I mean, or for me working out, or going for a walk, or just something that motivates you to go and do it, and something that you enjoy more so than something that you have to do.
Yeah, 100%. It's getting that focus and keeping that.
That's it.
Something.
Yep, definitely.
Last question, James. I'll let you go. Sorry, we got another one. Sorry, from Orange Ball Coaching. How important is it to have good people?
Very important, because the more positive people you have in your life, the more positive you'll be. So my 2 cents in that would be anybody negative in your life, get rid of them. That's because I mean they'll only bring you down, they'll only stab you in the back, they'll only tell you can't do something. But the main thing is have positive people around you, but be positive in yourself, especially. You know what I mean? Have a good attitude. Anybody that says you can't do it, go out and prove them wrong. You know what I mean? To me, it's as simple as that.
Yeah, definitely. What last question, I'll let you go, mate, because obviously I've got the other guests on as well. Coaching said great advice, by the way. Overall, what is your message to anyone who's struggling with mental health? What do you feel they can do going forward? And for anyone around somebody struggling with mental health, what do you feel they can do?
Well, for anybody that's struggling with mental health, pick up the phone. Seriously, pick up the phone, because I would rather listen to your problems than read your obituary, to be honest. So just pick up the phone, talk, find a friend that you can talk to. Listen, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, do whatever you have, same as yourself. Ask us a question, happily help. We're here for a reason. We do these talks for a reason, and that's they stop people drifting in and out. Anybody that is around someone with mental health, be there for them. Be by their side, talk to them, encourage them. Just keep emphasising that you're there if they need to talk. Check in on them when you haven't heard from them for a while. Just do anything you can to keep supporting them and keep their attitude and morale high.
100%. James, thank you very much for coming on. Keep safe, and we'll catch up real soon anyway as well.
Pardon?
I said we'll catch up real soon. Keep safe.
Perfect. Thanks for having me on, Jimmy. Appreciate it, pal.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All the best. Take care.
Cheers. Top guy, James, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Yeah, you should be proud of him. Top guy. And hopefully we can have another chat real soon as well. And as he said, if you want to follow him, or you need to talk to him or talk to me, we're always open here. The Bryony Show, yeah, good story, strong guy, 100% he is. Right, let's have a look. Let's get him on. Let's get the next guest on. Any questions, remember, keep asking them, and me or the guest will answer them. You all right, mate?
What's happening, man? You all right?
Yeah, not bad. You good?
Yeah. Busy week for me this past week, and it just keeps getting busier.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on anyway, mate.
Anytime, man.
Yeah, cool. So for the ones that don't know you, obviously, let them know who you are, what you do, and how we met.
I'm Michael Brown. I actually have a different Instagram as well, which is Brownie Sports Photography. Was probably where you probably knew me from or know me from. Um, and we met via just via Joe Dockett, who's on tonight actually.
Yeah.
I was down there doing some stuff for him, and very recently I started a YouTube channel called The Interview, and I believe you spotted what I was doing and wanted to get yourself involved with what you were doing at the England Six Aside, and there was a lot of good information there when you were doing it, and if anyone hasn't checked it out, go check it out. But yeah, we met through that, and we've kept in touch really recently, and yeah, I think that's where we're at now. And just to touch on mental health, like what it means to me, means a lot because what 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, I was at the bottom of a barrel, and a lot of people don't know, but I was finding it hard. The people around me were just, I still felt alone, even though I had some friends around me, and yeah, I almost did probably the wrong thing, and think since then, think a lot of things have changed for me in the past 2.5, maybe 3 years, and things have gotten better and better, and yeah, I have my good days and my bad days, but having a bad day, you just have to look at what you're achieving and what you can achieve.
You touched on obviously that you can touch on it as much as you want or open as you want, no pressure as we go along. But how do you feel you got out of them lows 2 or 3 years ago?
Um, it's not an overnight sensation. It's not an overnight thing you're gonna do overnight. It's one of those things where you take it day by day, and you try to. It's not sort of like push it to the back, but you try to, because anyone who's probably ever had this or have ever had a problem, it's always going to be there. But just try to put something else in the place of it and keep building and keep trying to take one step forward. I know each day was very different, and I've got kids, so probably looking at them made it harder at the same time. And then there was so many things that I needed to do, and I think your last guest touched on it as well. It was a thing about getting healthier as well. The more healthier I became, the more mentally strong I became as well.
Mm. Like touched on it, obviously James touched on it as well. How important is it to find the right people around you to be able to maybe carry on and do the right things and progress your mind as you go along?
As much as the right people around you are going to help you,
Mm.
each day you're gonna need the people. If you've got the wrong people around you, they're going to help. But also as well, for me personally, things like there's an app called Headspace. Those things are good to go and get those in Headspace. It teaches you to take 10 minutes yourself or up to half an hour of meditating. And with the meditating, it teaches you breathing exercises. It teaches you things about how to like unfog the mind. So as much as having the right people around you, also self-care is one of the most important things. If I can give one advice for someone who's having a hard time, is download Headspace. I think you can do 10 sessions for free, and by about session three, there's one, and it always sticks with me. If I'm having trouble sleeping, or if I'm having trouble, um, just in general, it unfogs the mind. It's the idea is of thinking of your mind as a busy motorway, and instead of trying to stop every car and trying to take it all in, when you're on a motorway, you just let everything pass you. So you just got to keep letting things pass, letting things pass, letting things pass, and eventually your mind will calm down. So just to touch on it again, it is important to have the right people around you by far, because if you have negative people around you, people are putting you down, that's not great. But also as well, you need to take that step back to realize it as well. Take a step back, take a deep breath, and clear your mind. The mind is the most important thing.
Yeah, Webby said Headspace is brilliant. I have that too. Top man Brownie.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. That guy, he's out doing his own thing, and I know that he works very hard. And whenever I have seen him, I've always got a good word to say about him, and he's always learning as much as I am as well.
Yeah. We touched on it a little bit with James. What's your thoughts on education? How do you feel within education they can help a little bit with mental health?
I think it's a very good thing. But at the same time, the curriculum right now is one of the biggest, very chock a block. I think they need to revise it, um, because obviously when me and you were at school, and probably my kids are at school now, they're getting taught different things.
Mm.
But they need to revise it a little bit and probably put mental health in there. But I think they should just have a class that sort of touches on things at home, like that. I know that kids get like sex education and all that,
Mm.
but they should have a lot of things, what to happen if this is going on at home or if that is going on at home. And
Yeah.
then obviously as the years go up, you talk about progressive things. So I think it's right, but I think it needs to be more of a well-rounded thing, not just mental health. Think of kids who are struggling at home because their parents are not getting on, or think of, a child is getting abused or anything like that. There needs to be a lesson around everything so that, when you was in school, when you were doing maths or something, you would do decimals, and then you would probably do, I don't know, you would do fractions or whatever. It needs to be a lesson like that, really, more than just mental health. It needs to have like a life lesson of sorts.
Yeah. Um, we've been obviously a lot of people have touched on it over the weeks on these chats, but they're saying sometimes it's not always the specialists what are going to be the main help. It could be somebody who's maybe gone through mental health and they obviously have that life experience of gone through it and they can pass on their experiences to help. Also, it could be a friend or family what's gone through it, and they can pass it on their experience as well. What are your thoughts on that? Obviously, the specialists are specialists, and we get that, but sometimes you can't beat the person who's maybe had the life experience.
Yeah, thing about a specialist is that if if someone like, let's just say again, I always think of kids as the barometer. Okay, so where you're going to check everything in, even if you're an adult. So when you was a kid, it's implemented in you as an adult. So if a kid goes to see a specialist, they instantly think there's something wrong with me, and it's not beaten, but it's drummed into you at a very young age.
Mm.
So when someone, specialists are great, and for people who can either afford them or see it as a great thing. But I think, you should always have someone in your life that you can confide on, or sorry, confide in, or someone that you can just say something to, and they're not going to take it the wrong way. They're not going to see you as an idiot, no matter what the comment is. And it's important that you surround yourself with people like that. It's also, it's important you surround yourself with sort of strong people. Build your team as if you were building, for football example, as if you were building a football team.
Yeah.
You want strong character, you want a strong at the back, you want something that's going to hold you in the middle, and then going forward, you're going to want something that's always going to be explosive. So, it's great to talk to specialists if you can afford them, if you can get that kind of care. But most days, you're just going to need that someone you can confide in, drop a text to. I know I've got a few people like that now, and I'm very friendly with Joe as well. I mean, just through photography, but we're becoming good pals as time goes on. So,
Mm.
yeah, there's always way, and always look to grow your relationships. Don't keep your circle small. Always have a tight circle, but
Mm.
always look to expand. And somebody once said, "Is the best thing is you can have a massive contact book, because as long as you've always got someone to contact, you never be short of friends."
Obviously, you're involved in non-league football as well and grassroots football, and that's really massive, obviously, for all of us. And we're all missing it at the moment. Do you feel it's affected you or people around you not having football at the moment?
Um, well, to be involved with it, I've been very lucky over the past. however long I've ever got to play in football, and then over the past maybe 3 to 4 years, I've been heavily involved in sort of the either the management side of it or watching the management side, and obviously going into like media and photography. Um, I think it's affected more people than it probably didn't think it would.
Mm.
Um, but for me personally, it's given me a good chance to sort of take that break, um, and refocus my life a little bit. It was a good moment where I'm now in a good position where I'm looking forward to everything coming back, and I've built something up a little bit myself, and also as well, I've just changed career, myself, and it's given me the good time that I feel like I have always wanted.
Mm.
Someone that I interviewed recently said it was like a blessing in disguise, and I think it was. But for people who suffer with mental health or didn't know they suffered with mental health until the pandemic kicked in,
Mm.
maybe it's been a rude awakening for them, and they've finally seen now they can get the help they want. So, but to go back to your answer, for me, I've missed it. Obviously, I'm passionate about football. I'm a massive West Ham fan, for my sins, but I'm also a lover of the game. I'll go and watch anyone as long as it ain't Liverpool. Sorry if anyone's a Liverpool fan, but yeah, I'll go watch anyone from Millwall to from just going down to watch Sunday League or being involved or to be watching anyone. I love football, and I love the thinking behind it. I love how in football as well, everyone's opinion is different. Everyone's got a different way of seeing things, and it's so diverse. Everyone's different. So yeah, it's been good, and I can't wait to get back. And also as well, I can't wait to use some of my new techniques that I've learned via coaching. I did a light. Me and Blaine did a light session yesterday for our team this year, and with things at Metrogas, it's going to come back bigger and better, hopefully for us.
That's good to hear. Um, do you feel there's still a big stigma in football with mental health, or do you feel it has got better?
I think that's one of those things that's always going to be there. You only have to look at the moment in football is the gay thing. No player has, apart from there's one in the MLS, but no player in the English Premier League or English divisions has come out whilst playing. There's a
Mm.
massive stigma attached to it.
Mm.
Brighton fans get it a lot as well to be called that they're gay and things like that is massively wrong. We're living in the 21st century. We all have to sort of, as time's gone on, we've all learned to live with these things.
Mm.
So these are important. These are important times. But the only way you can change something is just keep going against that vibe. If someone's doing something wrong, be quick to point it out and be quick to tell them that we don't live in that life. We don't live in this the past anymore. We live in a new frontier, and we want everyone to have equality.
100%. Last question, and I'll let you go, mate. It's the same as what I ask most at the end. What's your message overall on mental health? If anyone's struggling, also for anyone who's around somebody who's struggling with mental health, what's your message to them?
If you're struggling with mental health and you don't want to talk to anyone, uh, it's hard. But either find someone or take up Headspace. Give Headspace 10 days. Get yourself out running. That's something that I did as well. I started running. It's not easy. The first few days of running, I didn't think I could run a mile, and it was hard. If you're watching someone go through mental health, just check up on them every day. Just check up on them every day, even if it's just an okay. Try and keep that conversation going, keep the conversation rolling, because it's important that when people are struggling, they don't feel like they're alone. Even if they think they can't talk to you, it's still overly important that they do, and you keep that vibe going. And if you feel like something's going wrong, just go around to the house, check on them. I know, and right now as well, especially after lockdown slowly getting lifted, it's important you go and check on those people that you feel are the most vulnerable.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's important, man. And I hope that if I could touch at least one person during what I'm saying, I think I've done something right.
100%, mate. Thank you very much. Good insight. Thank you for opening up a little bit as well. And we'll catch up real soon. Keep safe and
Whenever yeah, whenever, man. Hope everyone's blessed.
all right. Cheers. Thanks, mate. Thank you very much. All right. So that was Michael Brown. Anyone who needs any photography or media stuff, if he can help, he will help. So hit him up, and hopefully it's going to get bigger and better. Great stuff what he's doing at the moment. He's got the focus on it through lockdown, which, as he said, is a positive for him. Any questions for the final two guests, make sure you're getting them in, or for me. If you've missed any of this and you've just joined us, you can go back when I upload it on the YouTube page. It's mental health hashtag let us talk. You can also watch past interviews on there as well. Let me get the next guest on. The next guest. Hello, mate.
Well, mate?
Not bad, you?
Yeah, not too bad. I see you had a nice little shave.
Yeah, I don't
Trim
trim.
up.
Not my hair though. I need to get my hair still.
That's all right. Keep that hat on. You're all right.
Yeah, I'll wait until the barbers are a little bit less busy, mate, and then I'll go.
That's all right. Can you hear me all right? I'm in the car.
Yeah, I'm all right. You just finished coaching?
Yeah, about half hour ago, 45 minutes ago.
Cool.
But yeah.
All right then. So yeah, for the ones that don't know you, obviously let them know who you are, how we met, and what mental health means to you.
So obviously Joe Doherty, we met about 15 years ago, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
I think you coached us at Bromley around under 18s, I think it was, or under 16, something like that.
Yeah.
But it was through Alan, my old man. But yeah, that's about it, really. I mean, recently we started talking again because I'm doing what I'm doing with JD Keepers. So it's weird how we bumped into each other's paths again, and now we're here. Strange.
Cool. So what does mental health mean to you, Joe?
Obviously it's great what you're doing. That for me, that's what it means, is when people try and help out others, to be honest, because it's tough for other people to get the correct help, because a lot of people are different. The way that they talk about, their struggles and their hardship is tough, because like Mike, I think the guy before, Jamie, was it?
Jamie,
yeah, Jay. So everyone's got different opinions and different ways of dealing with it. So I mean, you're touching on like the education and stuff like that. It's an education with no teaching, and that's how tough it is. That's how tough it is to adapt to it, to understand what your feeling is, and you can't really always like figure it out yourself. And then you think, right, I need to talk to someone, and then you might talk to someone that that you've known for years and years, and think like, yeah, you're going to understand me. But then you talk to them, and it's a complete sort of, step back, and you think, "Cool," and then you feel negative again, and you sort of have that stigma towards them as a person because they don't understand you. And there's steps like that sort of incur in workplaces, wherever you go, you just feel negative, and like, yeah. So at the moment, it's what you're doing. I fully support it. There's not many people doing it as well, so hopefully we can get as many people doing the interviews, as many people watching the interviews. But yeah, so it's a good start, mate.
Cheers, thanks, mate. Do you feel it's obviously like in the football world, that's what we're involved in, etc., and stuff like that. So I'll touch on that first. But do you feel it is a big stigma still in the football world?
Yeah, Mike touched it just before, didn't he? So that he said about gays and stuff like that, like feeling really, really shut in, and they can't really open up. I mean, the world we're living in now, I'm just sort of repeating, but it is a new world. It's a new era of this sort of stuff. So like, it's hard to. I want to encourage people to come out and be honest, be how they feel. If there is you know, in the football world, you got full of lads in the change room. You know, you're in the showers, you're having a bit of banter, and it's all fun and games and stuff. But really, you don't know what's going on in here, into someone else's head, or you know how they're feeling. So you have to be sort of upfront. And I'm that sort of person as well, Jay. Obviously, you don't know me within the change rooms, but I'll get you out and about. I'll get you your best out, not the worst out of you. You know what I mean? So if there's like anyone that needs to chat and stuff like that, I am that person that will try my hardest to help them. So yeah.
How do you feel people can help? Obviously, after COVID-19, and how do you feel? Obviously, you touched on it, saying you need to talk, but what more can we do going forward, do you feel, to help with mental health?
It's tough because everyone feels like they can have an answer after you sort of have gone through it yourself. People look at you and think, right, you've got an answer, but it's really, really hard to explain to someone who's going through it. Like for now, you can look at me and maybe yourself or any of the other interviewees that come on. Just look at us. We're talking about it. That's our answer. We are talking about it, and that's how I can only explain to people who go through this sort of darkness of life. It's not a choice. People don't necessarily know when it's going to happen because you don't. Like these anxiety attacks and stuff like that. If you have an anxiety attack, you do not know what's going on. You don't know if you're going to throw up or you're going to stop breathing or things like that, and your mind just doesn't really understand what's going on. My advice on that is try and take a breath, take time out. So whatever is your surroundings, just if it's too much, just close your eyes and just think of something that you really, really love, really like, and that's what you're going to do and try and aim for. And then within them split seconds, it's mad how it changes your mindset, but that's how you sort of can encourage yourself to even get your breathing back, you know, start focusing again, and go from there. But small steps, Jay. That's what I'm
off. If somebody has struggled, obviously, with mental health, and they've spoken to people, we've had a lot of guests on here, obviously, saying they've spoken to people and it's not for them, and it hasn't worked for them, and they feel the aftercare after they've spoken to somebody is not very good. What would your advice be to them? Maybe how they can help with somebody else who may have gone through it, or if they're going through it, what can we do more for them?
I think there's definitely obviously, like you say, numbers and stuff like that you can call and speak to, and you know the aftercare for that is something that we as a country and the world, but it's hard because mental health's not being touched on like a lot as much as it should be. But I wish I could just click my fingers and help everyone out and make sure that, you know, the aftercare is there. But don't give up. Don't just think, oh, there's no one out there to help me, or there's no one there that I can call. Like there's no numbers that you know, you could call these numbers. They do answer, but unfortunately there might be a bit of a setback in time because the waiting list is too long. But as you say about the aftercare, that's something that we all need to understand, you know, from NHS. I think, me personally, from my own experience, obviously it's all my own experience, but how I felt when I was going through it and I wanted to chat, the aftercare, me personally, was all right. They out of the blue, they just called me up, made sure that I was all right. So again, that's putting a positive spin on it, because that's how I felt. Is like I actually just carried on with my life, and there was me thinking that I'm actually going to have I think the waiting list was like 3 months. So again, that's a negative spin. But then in 3 months, you can't do nothing until that 3 months comes. And for you to go ahead and wait for that 3 month period, my life changed, and that's exactly what happened, Jay. My life my life changed. Not life, but you know, my anxiety attacks stopped. My thoughts was like they just slowly just went because that aim for 3 months of help, I had to deal with it myself, my own way, and without realizing, day by day, step by step, I just felt okay. You know, JD Keepers come along, and then all of a sudden, it was 2 months ago. But you know, 2 months ago, they called me up and they said, "Oh, just to call up, just to check on you." And I thought, "Oh wow, I forgot about that." And that's how I realised that I was all right. And I thought, okay, cool. But for others that struggle, completely struggle, like consistently, and they can't like feel like they haven't got help, then please just try and even reach out to me. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm doing it. This is why I'm chatting to Jamie, and this is why Jamie's doing it. So everyone can get involved in talking to us because we are the answer.
Mhm. Yeah, as Sonia said, people just have to be kind. Samaritans always helped me. So I think it's a message from a lot of people, obviously, is finding that right person to or right people to be able to speak to, and getting that focus on something what you can motivate yourself and have that focus so your mind is not spinning in overdrive a lot.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely, mate, definitely, and you touched on it. You touched on it on most of the interviews anyway. But the people that you surround yourself is another answer. If for example you've got anyone that's quite negative and always got an answer back, and you don't really like the answer, okay, it's not fair that you only want one answer, but they don't understand that, and that's for me. You need to understand that you know what they're not good for you for now. Maybe not talk to them for not say don't want to talk to them forever, but step back, understand that that's bad energy, and then we go with the good energy, and then we'll just see what happens here each day as it comes. I mean, like we're talking about football now, Jay, but I had a couple of years out being a goalkeeper, but now I'm coming back. It's threw me into a big pond now where I'm feeling so good because it's something that I love. It's something that I've always done, as you know, from young, and now it's sort of giving me a positive vibe. And you know, seeing yourself, you know, all the other lads that go behind me, they you know they make me get lifted. So yeah, it's all about the positive vibes, mate. To be honest.
100%. Last question, like I ask everyone, going forward, what's your message with anyone who is struggling with mental health, and also what we can do if you're around anyone with mental health, and going forward, overall message on mental health?
My message for those that do struggle right now, and I understand it, been there. I know it's a dark time, but the way that I felt that helped was getting up early. Like I'm talking about R5 in the morning. I know there's probably no reason to, but the reason why you get up early is because then hopefully you can sort of sleep later on that day. Because majority of people, you know, suffer from anxiety, they can't sleep. But if you just make yourself awake early as possible, you know, watch the news, whatever. That's how I cope. And then also, I don't know, there's other things that you can put in play as well. Music, I always listen to music, and then again, keep fit. Try and keep fit, even if you get like yourself on YouTube watching 20-minute clips. When you're feeling good in yourself, you feel good. You just glow. So yeah, keep your chins up. Whoever's out there, there's going to be a way through it, and yeah, just keep going.
Sonia said you're incredibly positive. Is that your missus?
That's my message.
Yeah, your missus said, "Well done, Joe." So, yeah, no, we'll leave it there, Joe. We'll catch up soon. Keep safe, mate, and thank you for coming on.
No, pleasure, mate. Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Cheers, Joe.
Mate.
Thank you very much,
Cheers,
mate.
too. Bye, mate.
So that was Joe Doherty. Yeah, JD coaches top stuff. As Brownie said, anyone who needs any one-to-one coaching with him at the moment. Hit him up obviously on Instagram, Twitter, and also Facebook. He's there. He's doing great things in the community, and as Caroline said, great advice what he was giving as well. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. I do ask very similar questions to everyone because I like to hear everyone's personal points of views, and everyone has slightly different at times, and that's what this show is about and this live is about. So we'll allow people to have their own views, and also hopefully help one person, and that's what it's all about going forward. Let me get the last guest on. Looking forward to this person coming on. Where is he? Here he is. Thank you, Orange Ball Coaching. Great show as always. Yeah, cheers. Thank you very much, mate. You all right, mate?
Yes, mate. Yeah, very good. Thank you. Great show so far.
Cheers. Thank you very much. So for the ones what don't know you, obviously let them know who you are, what you do, and what mental health means to you, and also
yeah, sure. Yeah, so we know each other through my brother predominantly. My brother runs EMC Academy with Henry Muggeridge, who played with you at the England Sixer side. So yeah, Johnny's my brother, and I'm involved a little bit with EMC. I'm a Crystal Palace football scout, so I'm involved in an association there, and I'm also involved with a men's mental health charity, Men at Pause, which is basically just a Facebook group, but it's a support group and it's men only. And it's a full private group, so it's all moderated and it's a safe space for men generally to come and have a chat, and we have a weekly check-in, and we've done some events face to face. We did a bowling evening and that type of thing. So yeah, it's been really positive. We've had a lot of good feedback from that, and a lot of people helped. So it's been really good. I guess mental health to me is one of those things it's always there in the background. My day job, I run a web company, and stress is part of daily life these days. So I personally struggled a bit with anxiety and that type of thing, mainly with work, but other things as well. And probably echoing a lot of what other people have said as well, with not being able to sleep at night and that type of thing. And that culminated in me attending a few support sessions. And I did a bit of research myself, read a few books and that sort of thing. And yeah, I'd say broadly, I'm in a better place now than I was probably 5 or 6 years ago. It was a little while ago, but it's definitely a maintenance thing. It's not something you can just cure overnight and it goes away forever. It's something that's it's always there niggling in the background, and if you don't catch it early, then you can end up in a real bad space again. And I think that probably a lot of people would be in the same boat with that. It's not just a one-time fix.
You touched on it a little bit, that you educated yourself obviously on it as well. Was that because you didn't really understand mental health at the time, or anxiety at the time?
Yeah, I think it was probably more that I wasn't really sure where to turn. I didn't feel that I was in a bad enough place to be going to the doctors and getting drugs and that type of thing. And so yeah, a couple of simple self-help books and that kind of thing. I read a bit around it, and it's, I think, purely just for the understanding of it. If you understand the difference, the fight-flight response, and your body's sort of not really geared up to be stressed about work. It's more sort of primeval than that. That if you're stressed, you should be, your life would be at risk, or that type of thing, from a caveman style thing. But I think one thing that stuck out for me as the best fix for anything, if you're really, really in a bad place, you're really struggling with something, I found just 2 pints of water takes away, just like from a real low level, deep seated thing in the body. If you're in a safe place that you can drink safely, then it just shuts that down for a bit. It's a bit of a shift to put, if you drink 2 or 3 pints, but genuinely game changer for me. And I've said that to a few people in the support group. A couple of guys have tried it, and it's just such a simple thing to do if you're really, really freaking out for a bit. Yeah, to go and 2 or 3 pints of water, quick fix.
I think touching obviously on that worked for you, and it may work for some other people. I think overall the message obviously on certain things is that it's finding the right thing and that right focus for you or you personally, that your mind doesn't sit there and go into overdrive or think about these thoughts what may be going through your head. Do you feel that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as I say, there's no one-stop fix for everything. I think with the group, we've got a good few hundred members, and quite a lot of those are medicating, and a lot of them take similar meds, and a lot take very, very different concoctions, and some things work for some people, and you see people switching around which meds they've been on one week to the next, and some things are really successful, some things not so much. I've never actually gone down that road myself. I've never really been in a bad enough place that I felt I've needed to medicate, but I'm sure people need it, and that support is there. But I think, as others have said tonight, I think the mental health generally isn't funded brilliantly in this country, and there's probably a good few years of underfunding for that, and that will have a knock-on effect. And I think, especially with the lockdown and just the way that the general anxiety levels are in the country, about everything, it will come much more to the forefront in the next 6-12 months, and I think you'll find a lot of people coming out and saying, actually, I'm not coping with X, Y, Z, and people will need help.
Obviously, with the group, as you say, your support group, it is aimed more at men only.
Yeah.
Was that because you felt that at the time when you probably set it up that men were struggling to open up, and you felt that it was a place they could open up? And why do you feel that there is such a stigma or stereotype behind men not opening up?
Yeah, I think it's again, it comes down to sort of having a stiff upper lip and not being seen to show weakness, especially in front of other men. If you look at football, if you look at a changing room, and that changing room is full of sort of dominant male characters, and those that stick out more tend to be a bit more dominant than others. So I think from the group itself, it was good to have, if everybody was in it together, there was no sort of showing off for the girls, so to speak, and that type of thing. So it was a real safe space that people could open up without judgment by anybody, really. And there's a real diversity in the group, real mixture of ages, backgrounds, race, sexuality. There's a real broad spectrum, and there's no real sort of wrong reason for any of it. They're all, everyone's in it together, and everyone exhibits similar symptoms, and everyone struggles through in their own way, but you're all sort of in it together. So it's it's a nice safe space, and everyone's in it together.
No, definitely. Do you feel that it has got better over the years within football or in the world, that men can open up more? And if not only men, do you feel mental health has more awareness each year, or do you feel still there's not enough awareness of it?
I think the awareness has come on leaps and bounds, even in the last 10 or 15 years. I noticed that, some of the boys that you're around with the scouting, and, if I'm watching youth football, I do think that there's a lot more empathy with the younger people now than there ever would have been when I was playing, at 13, 14, 15. Some of the conversations that you overhear are, actually people checking in on each other and making sure they're okay, which is obviously amazing. But I don't know, I don't see that as wide enough to be able to comment on that, right across the board. I think with elite sport, they tend to have a different mentality, because you want to be, you're much more in it together. You're seeing these guys 2, 3, 4 times a week. Whereas, if you're just sort of your run-of-the-mill Sunday team, you might train once a week, and then, you have a game at the weekend. But I think with the elite younger guys, they, it's certainly part of the model there. And I know that like the guys at EMC are really conscious that, if someone's struggling, then they can identify that and take action. The other thing is as well, I quite recently did the FA Talent ID badge, and part of that is sort of your responsibility to look after a kid who's maybe the best player in your team, but for some reason he's not playing this month or this period, and he's just dropped away. So you have to sort of question, and again from a scouting point of view as well, if you've been sent to look at a boy and he scored 50 goals in the last month and he has a shocker, there might be other reasons behind that. You don't know what he's got going on at home. You don't know what he's got going on at school. He might have been bullied. He might have not slept that night. There's a million and one reasons, but it's really, really interesting as part of that FA course that they're really drawing attention to that and making people aware that, there are other factors. It's not just how fit you are, how good you are with the ball at your feet. You know, is this kid a footballer? I think the mentality of it is a big part of it, and I think that's really important. You know, as everyone who's been on here will know, and you know yourself, that you know a lot of it is work ethic and mentality. You can be the best player in the world, but if your attitude stinks, then you know you're probably not going to make it, because there's more to it than that. So
Chris,
yeah,
I'm just coming up to an hour, so it's going to cut off. So what I'll do is I'll come off and I'll come back straight away. Okay? All
no
right.
worries.
All right, mate. See you in a sec.
Yep.
Make sure everyone comes back and sees the end.